Hey, are you being trained to be an average agent? I bet you are. I bet you're being trained to be average, just like the thousands and thousands of other agents that are out there. As agents, we get taught to do and say exactly the same stuff all the time. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that probate is probably one of the best niches that you can be a part of in your real estate business. Look at that. You know, like I said, we all talk about and do the same things and everything. But one of the things that we do get taught, and you've probably been taught this a couple of times, have a specialty, have something that you specialize in, right? And a really funny, interesting thing that I realized was that when I did a search, the top real estate niches in real estate, probate didn't come up as one of them. Not on any single website that I went to. And I thought to myself, why the heck is that? That is probably one of the best niches that you can be a part of. And the reason is because, a lot of reasons actually. One, it allows you to stand out as an authority across the board, not just as I'm a probate agent and that's all I do is probate. It allows you to stand out across the board in the entire real estate spectrum. When you're introduced to someone as someone who specializes in helping heirs liquidate their properties, for their loved one who has passed away, that adds a different level of communication, different level of conversation to whatever group that you're with, right? But let's look at some of the other niches that they say are the top ones. So number one was for sale by owner properties. Yeah, sure, we love for sale by owner properties because they've already indicated to us that they want to sell their property. But the problem is that there's not a lot of them, right? At least in my area anyways. That's a big challenge. There's not a lot of for sale by owner properties out there. And when they do come on the market, boy, they're just attacked. They're just attacked by everybody, right? And if you're relying on that as a percentage of the properties that become available, you're relying on a really low percentage. Typically, I know geographically there's certain areas where they do have a lot of for sale by owner properties that come up, but most areas that we've researched, they show that they are really just not a lot of properties. And also, we know that if they do come up as a for sale by owner, usually they're very adverse to working with real estate agents. That's why they're doing a for sale by owner, right? So that could be a challenging niche to be part of. Resort and vacation homes. Well, you got to be in a resort/vacation home area. It's not an area that I'm in, that's for sure. Number three, Hispanics. That sounds like a Fair Housing Act violation to me, to be able to just outright call it on these lists. These people say Hispanics, target Hispanics, so we'll stay away from that. Singles, okay. Yeah, you can target singles. You can do that too. If you're like in an up and coming popular area, it's very hip and whatnot, then the singles are a good target. Seniors. Now, this is an interesting one to me because while I specialize in probate, for sure, that's one of the targets that I go after. I don't necessarily target seniors. I'm going to continue right after this airplane goes over. So we got to make sure we disclose on the transfer disclosure statement the airplane noise. But seniors, these folks, most of them, they don't want to sell their house. They want to live in their house until they die. And so they're not reaching out to you. Oftentimes it's more the family members that are reaching out to you, right? And so, there's all these designations that you can get for seniors. And, in my experience doing this for over 20 plus years, unless a senior has a very specific reason that they need to sell, that they need to move, and they're gosh, how do I put this? They're a little sharper than the average person in their old age, then maybe yes, they're going to call you, but not too often, right? And you may have a different scenario. For you, it may be something different, but for us, this is the things that I am experiencing. So first-time buyers, that's another one. And that was a specialty that I had for years. I worked very almost strictly with first-time buyers. Here's a couple of issues with first-time buyers: is that as first-time buyers, uh, typically their referral base is pretty darn slim. So unlike working with somebody who already owns a property, unlike working with people who are move-up buyers or something like that, the first-time buyers, they can't refer you as much business, and eventually they'll sell. Yes, that's great if you want to wait 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years for them to sell and then move up to something else. That's great, but they're not going to refer you sellers. They're not going to refer you a lot of other buyers too. And we know in our industry that there's the saying, it says listers last, right? People who list properties last. It doesn't matter what the marketplace offers. If it's up market, down market, sideways market, recession, depression, doesn't matter. If you're listing properties, you are in control, because now you have those buyers who are coming to you. So you have the property, you have the product, the asset, they're coming to you. We're just going to keep going through these airplanes. Sorry guys, we're going to have to stop 100 times. So that can pose a challenge, right? Condominium buyers. We had a friend who was the condo king in our area. Loved it. You saw his signs on all of the condos. Guess what? He stopped being the condo king because he was realizing that he was limiting himself to the lower end of the market. And when somebody had a $700,000 or $800,000 house that they needed to sell, they never called him because he was the condo king, right? You don't want to limit yourself that way. Distressed properties and homeowners, short sales. It's funny because in 2007, 8, 9, 10, everybody became a distressed property / short sale expert. And here's the issue with that is, where are they all now? Where are they all now, right? The economy, the marketplace, for the most part, has gotten above upside down levels for most of those properties, and either those people have sold or decided to keep their properties, whatever. But that is not a sustainable niche to be a part of, because as markets shift and change, you're in business one day. I know friends who have massive REO businesses, and then just in the course of a year, they're out there banging on doors just like you and me to get that one little listing, because they have to. Vintage or custom homes. These are some of the ones that are on this list here. Vintage or custom homes. It's a style-based niche, and so again, unless you're in an area that has a lot of these types of properties and have a good turnover, it's tough to maintain your position as that vintage style person. It's good to have that knowledge and that experience, so when you come across a vintage property, you go, oh man, I know all about this, the house, the style of how it was built, who the builder is, what was going through these people's heads during this era, right? That sort of thing. That's great. That's awesome. But to be a sole target, it is pretty darn tough. Veterans and military, funny because I have lots of people I know, they say, well, we specialize in helping military families and stuff. I'm like, oh, great. How many agents are in your area? Well, hundreds or, thousands of agents in our area. And I say, great. Do you think they're all military specialists too? Because you got a military base in your area. Yes, everybody's a military specialist. So you can't say I'm a military specialist in a military town and not expect that all the other agents that are there are not military specialists as well, right? Divorce, that's okay. That's not a bad one to go after because it is fairly consistent and whatnot. The only issue is you're dealing with a lot of drama. So it actually has a lot of correlations to the probate market, but that's up to you if you want to do that and become the psychology, the counselor, or whatever you want to do, right? So in my opinion, probate is probably one of the best niches that are out there. Why? Not to be cliche, but people are dying all the time, right? People die all the time. The percentage of people who have actual wills or I'm sorry, a trust to prevent them from going to probate is super, super low. Okay, so more people die without a trust, and in a lot of cases, even without a will, and forcing a property to go into probate. But the trick is to get to them, is to get to the people who need to sell the house, or what we call the personal representative in a lot of cases. And I've put together a letter campaign with all my letters that I use to send to the personal representatives to get them to call me. And you can get it for free right on my website, theprobateagent.com. You just go there, click on the little button that says get the free letters. And when you get those, we're going to send it to you right away, and help get you started focusing on that particular target. This letter campaign, it's what got me the appointment here today. So we'll see you on the next video. We're going to go list this house. Take care.